Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Manager 2020. I've got Ryan here today, so we're actually going to have a team presentation for once.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. I've missed a couple episodes. This is episode 5. We're making numbers, as we call this.
Yeah, so far the Football Manager's actually been doing pretty good, so that's good to see.
Yeah, it is.
Hopefully the novelty doesn't wear off and people don't stop watching. But I'm sure we'll continue to get great moments like me cockily removing my good defender against the 12th ranked team just to fall into a tie that I had no business tying in.
If you hoping for some nice, wholesome moments and some big wins today, this might not be the episode for you. We've got a
Yeah, I,
packed schedule.
I did mention that I fully expect jobbed about Orlando Pirates and Australia when I saw them coming up on the screen schedule. You might notice well, people who've been watching won't notice this, but Ryan might notice a difference in my league position.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that.
It's because I've only had one match in like the last month, and I only got 1 point from that. You can see like teams above me, 7 matches played. Stellenbosch already has 8 matches played, and I'm sitting here at 6. So it's the downside of being involved in a lot of other competitions. I don't get the league time, and then they cram all the league matches together in a very short period of time. But what we're actually going to do today, we have Orlando Pirates coming up next in the Knockout Cup. Uh, we don't have a good record against Pirates, and probably aren't going to win. We do have a couple of things playing in our advantage in this being in a knockout cup match that they're not going to take serious at all. So they're probably not going to be fielding their top team, and I probably will be fielding mine. And it may not look at it just looking at the schedule because I don't have an international match until the 12th, but that match on the 8th does fall into the international break, so they might not even have some of their top players as options. But one good thing I noticed, the board isn't upset about me getting that draw last match in the Premiership. They,
Give me some from the board as I'm upset.
yeah, well, their expectations are really modest for the league this year. They only want me to get in the top 10. So sitting in 6th, they're completely happy with my performance. Uh, so I can afford to make some of the mistakes I made last time. Uh, the downside, if it wants to show my actual calendar for a minute, hopefully it'll load a little longer next time. But actually, everyone's still available for us. They leave for us the next day. Technically, the international break starts on that day, but no one's leaving for us until the next day. So I'll be able to field the strongest team possible against Pirates. I don't expect to win the match, and actually, I'll be kind of happy if I don't, because it'll, as I mentioned last session, it'll make December a little more manageable if we're not still in the Knockout Cup. But I'm still going to do my best to actually win it.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna sabotage it.
No, I'm not going to pull the North American strategy of tanking games in the second half of the season to get good draft picks. I wouldn't put a whole lot of thought into the changes I'm making right now to the team lineup. Most of these are probably going to get undone on the day of the actual match. It's a lot of just replacing people who are tired because we had a couple of matches fairly close together leading up to this. So this is not the strongest side, and I'm hoping to not need to actually play most of these players when we get to the match, but especially not Senamela. He's not that good. Tunkara is not that good. Walker's alright, but he's been making a lot of mistakes. Tao's not that good. But I'm just letting them slot these guys in, because then for the next couple of practices they'll play as if they're in the first team, or they'll practice as if they're in the first team, and it'll hopefully get them better. You can see they're actually, this is about the best odds we've ever had coming into play Orlando Pirates. They're only 5-4 to beat us. We have every chance of walking away with something against slight favorite Orlando Pirates, so they're probably not planning to field a very strong team. You can see here we're expected to progress beyond this stage to live up to minimum expectations. Well, that's true. The board will make allowances for me getting a really bad draw. So if Pirates do beat us here, they're not going to be as upset as they would if I lost to a lower ranked team. It's one of the nice things that they tend to be fairly reasonable about what's expected, because it's literally a one-match knockout thing, and completely random draw. So sometimes you just get like us versus Orlando should be the final, but the draw didn't work that way, and so I'd say it's about 50-50 on if we can actually beat them, which is a good position to be in against them. The fact that they did really well against Tux isn't really something to take away from, because as you can see, they're literally the University of Pretoria football club. They are professional players, but I mean, the funding isn't that high for that. They're not. They tend to. They were actually a league down when the save started, and they fought their way into the Premier League, got knocked out, fought back in again. I definitely am taking this advice of changing the mentality to a balanced mentality. If we go attacking, Orlando's just going to poke holes in us. They're too good for me to try to bully. Which means they want me to change more people to support. Let's see, I got 2. They want 4, so now I can move Walker to support without messing him up any. Can Erickson play support? He can do it as a Mazzella. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I usually listen to this too, because they generally won't ask me to make more people in a role than can do it really well. And so I usually listen to them on that. Once in a while I'll ignore them with someone who I just feel plays better in a different style, but in a case like this where I could get 4 players on support without degrading anyone's effectiveness, I might as well make the changes. I'm going to end up throwing it all out the window when I slot into first team in a little bit anyway. And someone else is trying to buy us. This is because I'm wasting so much money. People start trying to buy the club when the club goes into debt, because someone keeps hiring foreigners from Europe and then not playing them. You weren't watching last recording session where I was getting really frustrated with my scouts for just wanting to scout people in Europe. I had like 3 scouts who are just like, you should scout this guy from Germany and this guy from Wales. And I'm like, fine, you guys are the scouts. Yeah, but it's like, I think I only have one scout that's interested in Kuma's trying to participate in the recording. But I think I only have one scout that's actually interested in scouting South Africa. Okay. Hopefully we can use that to award-winning performance. The top one's usually the most positive, but I find if I use that on this particular prompt, it tends to stress the player out and they play badly. Bunch of lower team clubs. He's playing well on his loan, so I compliment him. Wow, no one's sucking right now at practice. I've mostly gotten Williams out of his bad mood since the last time you were on a session. Gilchrist still hates me. But that's fine because I continue to not use Gilchrist. Yeah, I'll let you go there. It's on an international break. I don't really care what you do. I have to re-add all these guys because they can... If, like in a case like this where I've told both the under-21s and the reserves that they can play with them, it'll select both of them if they have... Both teams will select from them if they have a match the same day. But once they've been selected by one team, they're no longer eligible for the other one, so I have to re-add them. It's a little annoying on one hand, but it has the advantage of me not accidentally sending people I want for the first team to go play with the backup teams, because as soon as I pick them for the first team, they're no longer eligible for those other teams until I resend them. I don't need to know that. He can have his tight groin in private. Actually, I do need to know that because I play with him and it's actually a muscle injury, but it does sound... Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be back before we go to Australia. Then I can just tell him to wear looser shorts. Our under-19s, despite getting a good result there, kind of suck right now. But I've been aware of that for a while, and it's an issue I can't really do anything about because we're just not generating good youth for the last couple of weeks or years. Yeah, he was my starting goaltender for the last 2 years. Unfortunately, Foster is actually slightly still injured. He got that bruised shin in the last match. 75 minutes is fine, though. It probably won't matter, especially going into the break. And it's just a bruise. It takes a hit to his conditioning if he goes longer. Here you can see why I'm not overconfidently confident going into this. Orlando has won 12 times, we've drawn 5, and I've won 5. No, and I'm going to be playing away. I'm actually happy playing away because Orlando has a good pitch, so no one's going to get hurt. Or it's less likely. I mean, Foster probably got that bruised shin because we were playing at home on our crappy pitch. I'm still a little bitter that the takeover prevented the new stadium from being built. because you didn't hear this story, but my club stopped maintaining the pitch because they were going to build a new stadium, and they got land for the new stadium, and then the takeover happened, and the new owners are like, yeah, we don't want to pay for a new stadium. You can keep using the old one. So they canceled the whole project. And yeah, I know, shocking. But now I'm stuck with a pitch that hasn't been in good condition in 4 years. Unfortunately, there's some gaps I just can't fill for this match, like because people are getting ready for international matches, and so they're not really good to slot in here. Like, I'd rather not have Mirosavljevic in either. He's better than the person I had. But I don't love going against Pirates with a 2.5-star player on defense. Mabule has been playing well above that 2.5 stars. Everyone looks worse than usual because they're being compared to Orlando Pirates. Like, most of these guys normally would have another half star on there, but it's like compared to Orlando, these guys aren't that good. But it's the best I'm going to be able to do, so I'm just going to have to put them out there and hope Orlando's fielding a weak team. I could have gone on a deep dive scouting, but I don't usually worry about that because I can't really do anything about it. So I just go out and play my own match and let them do what they can, and hopefully we're better. I was able to get Williams back in. He's been excellent for me over the last couple of matches. I'm not sure what the hell that was. I feel my gut feeling is 1-0 Orlando. Yeah. They're substantially better than any other team in the Premiership. From what I've seen on Wikipedia, looking up logos for these episodes, they are actually this good. But I'm not sure how they've managed to be this good because there's no strong competition for them. Like, they're just... It sounds like they're just head and shoulders the best team in the league, and it's not close. You can see it's 2 minutes in. They've already had 2 good attacks on goal. I'm going to be happiest if this is a very boring game where we get, like, no highlights. This, yeah. Close him down. I don't think we're good enough to shut him down. I'm really not overly confident with my defensive line in this game, but at least if they're up close to him, they have a better chance. Problem is the Orlando players are just faster than us. Yeah, I mean, we are the second best team in the league. Realistically, what the reason we don't always get second or first is because we get worn down by the schedule and we don't have depth. But I haven't had many injuries this year. I've been able to play pretty much the lineup I want most matches. And under those circumstances, we just are the second best team in the league. That's one of the reasons my scouts keep wanting to scout Europe, because there's just not the level of talent available in Africa to meet the level the team is playing at. which is one of the reasons we're targeting. Oh, this is going to sound bad in the modern political climate. It's one of the reasons we're targeting young people, so that we can train them up to be at the level we expect, instead of them being trained in soccer programs that have no money. And like I said, Mabuli has been playing well above his ability level, according to that menu at the start. All those 4 goals he scored were in the last 2 recording sessions. Actually, I didn't even have him last time you were on a recording session. Because I hired him from an Egyptian team, and he's been awesome. He's only 21 too, so I've got a chance to develop him. I wish that notification to cover the saw would go away, but that's a known bug with this game, that sometimes those just don't disappear until another one crops up, or until halftime. It'll go away at the break. But I'll be very happy if nothing else happens in this match. Maybe wearing my Lucky Cannonball shirt has paid off. Walker decided to finally pull his own weight. He's been playing garbage for the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I suspect I'm not playing the strongest Orlando Pirates team. Oh yeah, we're definitely not playing the strongest Orlando Pirates team, because their fans knew that. The stadium's like half full. I feel a lot better now that I have 2 goals under my belt. Now something bad can happen and it's not deal breaking. But they can get those back fast. I've had them score 2 goals in 3 minutes on me before. So I'm not going to be comfortable with this until the match is over. As you can see, we're doing a wonderful job of covering Desa, despite the fact that I told them expressly to cover him. But that's the case where a lot of the weaknesses in my squad are mental. It plays into who I've got for my assistant coaches, but we tend to not develop the mentality nearly as well as we develop the physical skills. And there's not much I can do about that, except for firing my entire coaching staff and replacing them. And that seems like a pretty big gamble when everything's working. Despite the scoreline, things look to be playing out about the way I'd expect them to, with Orlando having slightly more shots than me. Everyone's reacting well to the team pep talk, so that's really good. I think they got a good scare when we drew to Cape Town City. And now that I think about it, I remember the conditions were breezy too, which will also play to our advantage, because Orlando's a very structured team. If the ball's getting buffeted around with the wind, it's going to blow them off. It's going to disrupt their structure. And a little bit, yeah. They might even get beached. I've been strongly resisting the urge to name this episode a Jack Sparrow pun. I still haven't entirely won that battle, so there's about a 50-50 shot this episode ends up with some sort of a Jack Sparrow pun.
Every time I look at that name, I do think of Orlando Bloom Pirates.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I also considered an Orlando Bloom pun. Ultimately, I figured I couldn't really name the episode before I know how this goes. Oh. Past 60 minutes. McQuaquina is not playing well. It's always unfortunate when my freshest player is playing badly. Because I don't really want to pull him off. But no one else is playing anywhere close to as badly as him. And as usual, none of my goals have come from my striker. They've been off the wings. I don't think putting either of those guys in will improve things. But I do want Tau to get better as a striker, so. And I am up 2 goals, and changing my striker doesn't affect how we do defensively. So I think this is a fine chance for Tau to get 30 minutes in a position he's not very strong in. I don't need to get another goal. I just need to keep them from scoring. Here we can see how poor Tau actually is as a striker. When I started, the only thing he was vaguely good at was a false 9, but I've been trying to get him comfortable as a deep lying forward. It's a little more aggressive position. Ideally, I want him to actually be able to play as a striker. Oh, and they're just making all their subs right now. Fantastic.
I mean, that means the lineup will be fresh, but that means you can.
That could actually go really badly for them because they have no subs left if someone gets hurt. There's a big reason I never dump. Yeah, there's a big reason I never dump my entire bench on at once. Well, now everyone's playing quite well. I'm definitely not pulling Mabule, even though he's the most tired, because 8.7. I think it's just Marchman. I really don't like tweaking my defensive-minded players, but I need them to be fresh for the end of the game, especially after they've made 3 changes. And this isn't the worst. It's not like I'm actually taking anyone off the very back line. In fact, I've actually improved the line. The only reason Safima wasn't in earlier is because I'm trying to keep him somewhat fresh for his international duty that starts tomorrow. This is one of the... Yeah, this is definitely not their top team. Or they've fallen on some hard times this year, but based on their topping the table, I suspect this is not representative of what Orlando will normally be like when we face them in the league. I think, based on the way we're playing, that if I can keep my team healthy, we can beat them. But I'm not expecting it to be this easy. Domini hasn't been able to get his head in the match for 10 minutes, but I've got no one to sub him for, so I guess I sub Eriksson. I'd rather do Dulimi, but I've got no one to put in for him. this is potentially an issue where Malula is not that strong a central midfielder, but I do have the entire defensive line. And honestly, it's not a big deal if Orlando scores once on us. I really don't want to go to extra time where my team's getting tired, because they'll just bully us in that if we have to go to extra time. But it's 8 minutes, and I can afford to drop a goal. They're actually doing about the worst thing they can do against my squad, with just sitting back and passing the ball really carefully. Because I've told them to take things easily this match, like don't get overly aggressive. So they're perfectly content to just watch them pass it around their end. Gives us a break. I've been running the top team hard this week, with the knowledge that after this game I've got 2 weeks of recovery. I think that was off Peterson. It was. Excellent. It's not even about getting the corner, it's just about keeping the pressure on them. Okay, this match is over. I don't care that they're the best team in the league. They cannot score 3 goals in 6 minutes. This is, yeah, which is good because I've been complaining about Walker for a solid month. But yeah, this is probably their best performance in a match that has counted. The only thing better was their bullying of that Spanish team in the friendlies, where I didn't realize that it was a team that was way better than us, and I played hyper aggressive, and somehow it paid off. But this time we actually came in with the right mentality for a team that was better than us, and they executed it to perfection. I don't know if they know they're getting broadcast on the internet, but they're certainly playing up to it. Okay, no milestones that matter for my squad. I had no expectations of that going that well. No, I had said last week I'm going to lose this game. I'd said it when I invited Ryan on today. I'm like, you want to come watch me lose?
You said at the start of the game that
Yeah.
it was going to be 1-0 Pirates.
Yeah. Why are you sucking so hard all of a sudden? You've been doing awesome. Oh, that's why you're way better than the team and you're not happy there. Yeah. I'll recall you. He's not good enough to bring in my first team. But he's yeah. Well, I had sent him to like not a great squad, like first division, but he needs stronger competition. Like these guys are not that impressive of a squad. Walker managed to turn it around and be my best player in either team, so definitely let him know I appreciate that, rather than just yelling at him for messing stuff up all the time. Because the last couple of matches I've been trying to shuffle around my wingers because I need to take him off and don't have anyone good to put on in his place. Sure, it's an actual South African and he's only 17, even though he's not that good. We can develop him better than Baroka can. Hopefully that doesn't insult him, but I'm going to be honest about what I actually expect for him because he's not. If I have to put him in on the first team, something's gone horribly wrong. He's not horrible, but he's worse than I'd like to have in. I might get him some minutes off the bench against some of the weaker teams in the Premiership, or like on a cup tie against random African teams that I'm much better than, depending on who we draw in the drawing tomorrow. But if I'm having to start him, things are not going well for me. The fact that my reserves team is bullying teams, don't read too much into that. Most of these clubs that are coming up are basically generated strictly so that they can be beaten. They're probably real team names, but they're small enough clubs that the game doesn't actually have a team recorded for them, so when I get the match, it'll randomly generate an entire team to play against me. And this is the problem you can run into with people that are consistently doing well. You keep telling them they're doing well and they get fed up because they keep getting the same feedback. But my only other option is to suddenly start yelling at them that they suck. Neither of those guys is actually going to come in, but 30-year-old. He's not very good. And I'm not really supposed to be signing 30-year-olds. So, yeah, I'm not going to offer you a deal. I mean, I don't think I'd get him anyway. I can't afford to pay him what he owed. But I'm not going to push my luck with the board by trying to bring in a mediocre 30-year-old Argentine. And this is exactly what I was talking about with the mental stats on my team. It's pretty common for their determination to just take a nosedive. It's got to be one of my coaches is just terrible about getting people to take initiative. But yeah, but I'm definitely not firing my coaching staff that's working for me in every other regard in the hopes of fixing that one little hole. The usual just psyching up. Oh, I'm getting the knockout draw today, too. Big day. Let's go Real Kings. Excellent. I got the draw I want. These guys are pretty good on paper, but they're probably the easier to beat. I mean, ideally I'd get Cape Town City here, but I don't see Cape Town City beating Palakwene, and I think I can beat Real Kings fairly confidently, even though they're currently third in the league. And of course, that's falling right at the end of November, so that's going to fall into my super congested schedule. I mean, here we go. Orlando Pirates, December 3rd. Super Sport, December 7th. Maritzburg, December 10th. Golden Arrows, December 14th. Kaiser Chiefs, December 17th. Tucks, December 20th. And Palakwene, December 23rd. And assuming I can beat Real Kings, which I should be able to, they'll be falling into this. My final will fall into this clump. And I'll have African matches falling into there. This would be a drastically bigger issue a week ago, or a year ago rather. But February is my backup now, so even though he's pretty good, and as I agree with you, has an awesome name, I can afford to lose him for 2 weeks. Especially because I don't think I have a game in that time. This is a bigger issue. Safama is one of my better players. He'll be out 2 to 3 weeks, and pulled ankle ligaments tend to reoccur and take forever for them to shake off the effect of it. So that's the injury that I was fearing coming into the busy time. Okay, group stages. This is where things start getting cluttered. Oh, look, I'm the first one drawn. Getting someone from Mozambique. I have no idea how good you are. We'll check that after everyone's drawn. Senegal. Don't know them. I should be better than them. Mauritania. I should be better than all of these teams because I shouldn't really be operating in this low a level. This is because we underperformed last year. Yeah, they're not good. Generation Foot. They're alright. We should be able to beat them boat legs, but they'll give us a little... I'll actually have to take that match seriously. And the Moroccans, they're actually good enough to be a problem. Okay, I got a tougher group than I expected. But it's fine. I can beat the Moroccans. And even if I don't, it's not the end of the world. We are still better than them. And better than the level of this tournament. So we should do well in it. Yeah. The Mozambican team. Ferroveredo de Berea. I butchered that. But, sorry anyone from Mozambique. Or who speaks the language they speak in Mozambique. Which I don't know what language that is. It looks kind of French. But not enough for me to be confident. And this is where my ignorance about Africa shows. But those guys are just part-timers. So we're just going to bully them off the pitch. The press pretty much agrees with me, with only the Moroccans likely to pose any sort of threat. It says it's an easy group. I think it's harder than most groups I would have drawn out of this contest, but at this level, I should be getting past any teams that they could throw at me. Realistically, I should win this cup. This guy's not very good. Yes. This is the point where I talk it up real good and then I embarrass myself. Yeah. But this is the big issue. This is what every week in December is going to look like. Just virtually no time for actual training. I've got 2 matches in 3 days. That's brutal right there. Oh, it's actually worse than I thought. Real Kings is literally 2 days before that. So, 3 matches in 6 days is, or 5 days. Yeah, it's 3 matches in 5 minutes. That's where the lack of depth I have in the squad is really going to be an issue, and that's kind of why I wanted Orlando to knock me out of that tournament, so I didn't have to do that. Yeah, it protects my job. I'm pretty sure I expressly told you not to go for Wolfinger. Oh no, it was the Argentine I didn't want. That looks pretty good, given that they wouldn't let me have Davies again. My acrimonious relationship with certain uh, club teams is really starting to burn me. Because I keep ignoring what they want. And then they just won't let me use their players anymore. Because now I'm stuck playing Mark Anthony Kaye, coming off his groin injury in my defense against Australia, no less, which is suboptimal. Because I freshened up the lineup so much, I have to pretty much replace everyone in here. But that's as good as I'm going to get them. See if I can pull off 2 upsets in one day. Or 1 recording session. It's technically 3 days later. And right now I can let anyone who's possible to play for the other teams hop in because we're on international break. It'll give them plenty of time to get some practice. And it shouldn't affect what I have coming up afterwards. Yeah, we're going to top that group. Falter. Oh, he used to play for me. I loaned him up. Yeah, he's doing well. I don't know why they're asking about that. Given that we're supposed to be talking about the League Cup. Oh, that's why. This guy's untrustworthy and probably wants to make clickbait out of what I say. Although he does like me. And yes, press personality does matter. Because they will fuck you if they don't like you. Yeah, real easy against the 3rd ranked team. I mean, it's the draw I wanted. I'm going to be somewhat nice to them. I might want to hire someone from them later. I don't love that there isn't one for me to just be super confident. Because I predict that I'm going to win that tournament altogether. So, yeah, there will be a South African uh, winner. It's going to be me, but I can't say that. Pretty strong club. Played these guys before. They're not too bad. Oh, they got a tough group. Super Sport should. Yeah, that's. It takes a little more time to actually check up on the stuff the press is asking you about it, but it's worth doing because anything you say can get misrepresented in the news and have dire consequences on you later. Oh, Williams isn't quite out of being mad at me. It's because I haven't lived up to my promise to him. And that one is actually not my fault because I did live up to it and then the board sold everyone I brought in to make him happy. And he's blaming me for it. And there's nothing I seem to be able to do to cheer him up. But he's playing well in spite of that. So he can be kind of unhappy if he wants. Yeah. No one expects us to beat Australia. 14 degrees. I don't know why I'm paying attention to that. That's always wrong. Okay, that's fine. The weather forecast in international matches is always off. And this is the downside. When things get busy, the save takes forever. It doesn't help that I've got it simming the entire world instead of just like you can have it so it just sims like Spain, Italy, and Africa. But I like to have it do the entire world because I do like to be able to bring in players from all over. Feels more realistic, but it makes it a little slower. Drew their under 23s. Beat the under 19s. Beat the under 20s. Let's see how badly I embarrass us. Because now it's the game that actually matters. No one except for the hardcore football nerds who have like one soccer care about any of those other games. And there's my determination cratering again. If that keeps up, I might actually have to root out that problem in the off season. Okay, this is good. This should actually improve Miroslavic's performances. Because he won't be as tired because he's not spending time on his course. And he'll be able to communicate with my team better. And these little yellow injuries, like, they're not bad in the greater scheme of things, but the fact that they're starting to add up is concerning, because last thing I need is 3 or 4 people just minorly injured going into a match. And as you can see why I was saying just ignore what the weather forecast said. They were predicting 14 degrees. It's 24 degrees. The weather forecast for international matches is always that wrong. I can't remember ever having a match where it actually is what they said it was going to be. So the weather's going to suck, but that's possibly good because that benefits the worst. Yeah, it benefits the worst team to have to play in windy conditions, and we're the worst team coming in there. I figured there wouldn't be any suggestions to change. You like stuff. I don't care transfers. That's a club issue. Good. No one's on limited minutes. I can't piss off a club coach today. Because my usual routine is to get club coaches telling me to limit the minutes I use someone for a friendly. Immediately forget it. And then use them for the entire game because they're playing well and get yelled at by the club coach later for tiring their player out. Or take the approach that Bayern Munich has taken with Davies, where they tell me to my face that it's fine, and then just stop letting Davies go on international games anymore. Small pitch. That's probably good too. Because Australia won't be able to bully us up the outsides. They've got us playing wing play, but that's as well. But that's less important in a case like this for us because the only way we're going to get anything in is if we just start lobbing it into the box from wherever. And they're already trying for that. I'm lobbing that way further up the field than I would have normally. And trying from like 30 yards out, 40 yards out. We know Australia's the favorite here and are playing accordingly. That was just embarrassing from their 11. Yeah, Carducci's just launching it all the way up to Amrani again. Best bet for getting through Australia's lines is just to go over them. I'm liking where the ball's being focused, but because if something's going to happen, it's probably going to come from Mustachio. Him and Jonathan David are easily our 2 best players on the pitch, but they're pretty good at covering David. Like, that goal doesn't count. He was a mile offside. Yeah, far enough the game didn't even feel the need to prove it to me that he was offside. I'm very mature. I can handle a player named Hooker. Looks like Australia's fielding a lot of kids in this match. Walsh is a regen. Now the domination I was expecting is starting to kick in. Although they were getting cocky and weren't watching the ball good there. Every time I see Owusu, I think it's Prince Owusu, but he's still in Germany right now. This is Leonard Owusu. He's less convincing cousin from Brampton. Somehow we're... Oh no. That's unfortunate. And you only have one person who's not on the pitch that's capable of playing in that position too. And he's not very good at it. Unfortunately, this is the position that got hit really hard by injuries during the build-up. After I'd picked the team for this break. And it's like, oh, it'll be fine. I don't have to replace them. And so now I'm to the point where I'm playing Petrasso is my only option. On the bright side, for our second, more winnable international match, I'll be able to shuffle the team around a bit more without disrupting everything they've practiced, because I'll have a couple of days to get them used to the new lineup. And I'm not really expecting to beat Australia anyway, so it's not the worst, but if Petrasso goes down, we're in real trouble. Getting a penalty off Smith getting clumsy was about as good as I could hope for there. For the record, Leonard Owusu isn't actually from Brampton. I looked him up on my own time. He's from British Columbia. I didn't think he was real, which is why I looked him up, because I'd never heard of him. But he actually exists. And he's trying hard for MVP of this match. Surprised they're giving... Oh, the injury, that's why. I was going to say, I'm surprised they're giving 3 minutes of stoppage time in a friendly. But Nelson's injury would have caused that. See if there's any changes I want to make at the half. Plus, they were trying to tell me something right before the end. Yep, press Jones. Tabla is playing badly. Estakia is playing like hot garbage today. Emrani's playing bad. David's playing bad. I'm actually surprised we're tied given how many people are playing badly. I don't have anyone to bring in for Tabla, so he's just going to have to suck it up. Stacchio. I'll bring Saputo in for him. David. I think I need to get Village some reps in for him. And Emrani. You'll get Mujkic in for him.
Look at all these options.
Too bad most of them are bad. Like, the youth development in Canada isn't great. Saputo, that's who I brought in. He's actually alright, but yeah, like I said, not good options. They're all pretty bad, but I'm not playing this match to win. I'm playing this match to get people experience. So I'm alright with bringing in the bad players and. Oh no, they're not. I have no expectations of them. Best case scenario right now, Australia doesn't score on us. And we tie it. I will actually be ecstatic if that happens. But that's what friendlies are for. I don't really care about the result. I want to just get a look at a bunch of guys, get them some minutes. Immediately you can see how badly Australia starts dominating us because I brought in way worse players. But they'll benefit a lot from playing against better players. It's always tough with the national team because I can't control their development. So I just have to take what's available to me. And this game came out before Canada had its football renaissance. So Canadian players are not expected to be very good at this point. Like, they knew about Stefan Eustáquio, of course, and Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies. Those guys were already active and known to be great, but the majority of the squad was still regarded as to be significantly below international standards. And then 2020 happened and we proved everyone wrong, but this game was made in 2019. I think when I do move up to Football Manager 2023, you'll see a pretty substantial jump in the quality of the Canadian players. That's the best I possibly can hope for right now. Do I want to make any other changes? Just make this a little harder. Tabla is still playing awful. I still have no one else to put in for him. Kay's getting pretty tired because he's coming off that groin injury. I think I'll give him another 10 minutes. And unless he suddenly is playing amazing, I'm going to take him out. I don't want to hurt him in this match because I suspect I'm going to need him in the next one where I can actually win. Okay, come on, that's got to be a regen. There's no way there's a real guy on the Australian team with the last name Italiano. The dude's name is literally the Italian. Yeah, time to get KO to there. He's not playing better. I don't want him to get... Oh, well, look. I have no one to bring in for him. This is where those injuries are really hammering this team. Guess I'm just going to have to trust to luck. Carducci is literally carrying us on his back right now. The fact that my entire attacking side of the pitch right now is terrible is showing up with how badly they controlled that ball. I gotta know. Do you actually exist? Italiano. Jacob Italiano. Oh, wow. I take that back. Jacob the Italian actually exists. Sorry, Jacob. Here I am sitting there roasting your name, convinced that it's something the computer came up with, and you're a real guy. This is going to be a stressful 15 minutes. Let's see any changes I want to make. Alright. 9, 8. Now, everyone is playing decent. I made a lot of changes. Actually, Mello is getting tired, and I don't. He's not playing well enough that I need to keep him in. I'll bring Daniel Henry in for 10 minutes, get him some reps. Henry's one of those players I was talking about that I think is criminally underrated at this point in the game, mostly because of the lack of respect North American football had when this came out. I think he's much better than the game gives him credit for being. Although I'm playing him as a wingback, so it's not going to show as well as if I actually had him in the center where he plays his best. But yeah, he's not a 2-star defender. He's our fullback. He's 2.5, 3 stars easily in real life. And I was watching TFC at the time. I think that was accurate back when this was made as well. But I mean, the devs. No strike against them. This is a massive undertaking. There's no way you can get a perfect assessment on every footballer in the world. I think they did the same thing I did because they had all those subs in the second half. I think they subbed out most of their best players and have brought in some young guys to try to build them up for the future. Oh, that mistake could be killer for them. I've taken John David off, of course, so I don't have a good striker in, but... Or they can... Village can just shoot from 45 yards out. Why not? It's not like we had a chance to win the match there. Thanks for that, Darren. We didn't lose. We did not lose. Oh. All the interesting milestones are for Australia. Nothing great came away from there for us. But I'm ecstatic with the way that played out. Today went a whole lot better than I thought it was going to. No. Yeah, this is entirely Australia's fault that happened. They should have beat us. Losing Jaden Nelson is a big loss. And I already have a strained relationship with TFC. The fact that I got Nelson hurt twice on international duty is probably going to cause me problems. But anyway, that's it for today. Oh, well, this is only giving... So tune in next time where we take on Bolivia in a friendly I should be able to win with Kenda. And then hopping back to Amazulu, we get... Of course, these are in slightly different order just to mess with me. But we will be taking on... Black Leopard, we will be taking on Real Kings for our first match in the Knockout Cup. So we're going to continue to not advance into Premiership at all, but at least one of the matches will have significance. So there's that. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone, and tune in hopefully probably Saturday when I record the next session. It'll probably just be me solo, but yeah. Well, I don't know. Dan might be available and actually be able to get Discord working. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.